Happy Sunday. Welcome to today's Sunday edition of Sunday Playbook, where we talk about our upcoming weekly investment plays, our option plays, our stock plays. Plus, we always usually have a lesson for you. So today we got Corey down in the lands of Texas joining us, and Jimmy's got another presentation for us today, y'all. So today is a good one.
Yes.
Be sure to like, comment, and share up front, y'all. Show us some love. How y'all doing, brothers?
Man, living La Vida Loca, man. You know what I mean?
I'm here, man. You know, I got the hoodie on. I'm in my when I come on Sunday, man, I'm in shadowy super coder mode, so I put the hoodie on. You know what I'm saying?
Hoodie mellow.
Yeah, like hoodie mellow on Sunday, man. You know, it's Sunday class, so I'm excited to talk to the people, man. If anybody is watching live, or even if you're watching on the replay, man, leave us a comment. Let us know you're here. Let us know that you tuned in with our Sunday playbook. Before we get started, I gotta say one thing before we get started. Black Queens no, I'm joking. What I want to say is this: make sure to join the village, right? Join the village by going to blackwealthrebels.com. We have different tiers. We are trying to build out the community and village. And by the way, this is the last Sunday playbook that will air on YouTube or Facebook. Now, if you're in the village, you get access to it. And again, the village also has free tiers. So sign up for the village if you're not in the village by going to blackwealthrebels.com. And, just going to continuously bring the education, and also just the community building to our folks. But we want to make sure that you are in blackwealthrebels.com because, cats be hating on us. So we want to take this behind the scenes, everything you can't build in public. We still going to do our public thing, but you can't build everything in public. I know you agree with that. Y'all good brothers.
No, for sure. Because, time is everything. And so, our time is worth something. So if you want to check us out early or you want to, be part of the, what we got going on, come holler at us. That's all. Ain't nothing crazy going on.
Ain't nothing to it. Ain't nothing to it.
Black queens forever, snow bunnies never. I said black queens forever, snow bunnies never. I said black queens forever, snow bunnies never.
That's like our benediction.
Yeah, that's how we get church started, man. That's how we get church started.
Listen, there's no lies told in that statement.
Yeah, that's how we get church started, man.
No lies told in that statement.
The Black Queens Forever podcast coming soon. But anyway, man, listen.
We're not going to take Dr. Umar's
the Black Queens Forever podcast coming soon, where we interview nothing but Black women who are doing their thing in business, but that's either.
Hey, listen,
know what? That's actually a great idea.
Yeah, look at me throwing out $1 million ideas. Like, just throwing them out there.
Somebody should do that.
It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Also, shout out to I got the message from Pierre. Pierre, I gotta shoot you a message. Cash App already started drawing because I wasn't here on Friday for our Friday live Bitcoin giveaway. I think Pierre won because I got the email from Pierre, but Pierre, I got to shoot you an email because Cash App already blocked sending Bitcoin via the cash tag. They moving to you got to use the Bitcoin address. So I got to get that from you, and I will do once I get off here to make sure that's taken care of. Salute to everybody watching live. Today we're going to talk about what plays and what we're looking at in this upcoming week in the market. As part of the Options 101 courses and what have you, because we do have an Options 101 course that we started live last week. And we're going to continue that going this week. I do have another presentation for folks. Last week, we just talked about the basic vocabulary and things of that nature. Today, we're going to talk about fundamental versus technical analysis. Just take a little bit deeper into that, Pauls. And we're going to continuously build on the Options 101 so folks can get an understanding of some of the jargon and things that we're talking about as we build out our village. So you guys ready for me to get into it, Kamari and Corey? Let me know, and I'll breeze through this.
Let them hands go, Jim. Let the hands go.
Ready, Kamari?
Let it rip.
All right. So for everyone tuning in, this is the second class in the Options 101 series that we're doing. This is fundamental versus technical analysis. So if you watched the first episode, that was pretty much just getting into the very, very basics in terms of vocabulary. And this is just going to take it a little bit further. It's still very basic because we're going to build up to some of the more, technical and more advanced topics as it pertains to options. But we always got to start with our foundation. Like I said, similar to real estate, the foundation is the most important. If your foundation is off, it doesn't matter how beautiful your third floor windows are. So as part of building on the foundation, today we're going to talk about fundamental versus technical analysis. I do want to start with this. I mentioned in the last class that those books, fundamental analysis and technical analysis for dummies, in my personal opinion, are excellent for someone trying to learn how to, make long-term plays or even short-term plays as it pertains to options, right? Because options all do not have to be short-term plays as it's portrayed online with a lot of folks. If I'm buying leaps, excuse me, that is also similar to a long-term play, but I'm taking control of contracts versus buying the shares. Excuse me, I got to cover this bottle up. It's Corey's favorite brand, but they ain't paying it. So, with that being said, though, I'm going to get into it. If my brothers want to weigh in at any time, feel free to do so. But this is just the basics of fundamental versus technical analysis. Now, these are different types of investment approaches. Fundamental analysis, it focuses on a company's intrinsic value based on its financial health and future prospects. You will see fundamental analysis used a lot in long-term investing and also just trying to understand the worth of a company. One of the things I'll continuously preach as we do any of these classes is that stocks aren't just numbers on a piece of paper. They are ownership of a company. And when you own a piece of a company, you want to know how that company is doing fundamentally. A lot of times these things are, we hide a lot of things through vocabulary and make things seem a lot more complicated than they are. But when you talk about fundamental analysis, what we're talking about is how much money does a company have coming in and how much does it have going out? How much money is profit? How much are being spent on expenses? You do this in your personal life. We're just taking it from a corporate standpoint. So we're talking about bigger numbers. But at the end of the day, the day's going to end. And, some people want it to be one way, but it's the other way. And what that means is your company making money? When you look at the money they're making, how much of that money are they keeping? Based upon the share price, how much are they earning per share? So there's a lot of things that go into fundamental analysis, and we'll probably take each of those pieces, whether we're talking about price to earnings ratio, and or a lot of the different terms that are used in fundamental analysis, and do our own specific slideshows on them. But just understand that fundamental analysis is really focusing on the intrinsic value of a company, which is based on its financial health, but also its future prospects. And that's important to think about because a lot of times, let's just say we're talking about a tech company, a lot of that valuation is based on future prospects and not necessarily what it's currently earning, but with the prospects that it has to earn. But that's all covered under the fundamental side of doing an analysis. This is important as it pertains to options as well as long-term plays, but you see it a lot more used in long-term plays because there are some people, believe it or not, who only trade on fundamental analysis. But then again, there's technical analysis, which studies nothing but price action. We're talking about price action now. So technical analysis studies historical price patterns and trading volume to predict the future price movement. Doesn't mean that it's 100% accurate, but what it means is a lot of times by looking at what's already happened, you can see what's going to happen, right? There are patterns that are in play when we talk about the numbers of those options contracts. There are other folks who do technical analysis and don't care about the fundamentals of a company. All they're looking at is what the price action is showing them, right? What has price been for a week or a day or a month or even a year or even a minute? There are people that trade all the way down to the minute. You can look at 5-minute candles. There's all kinds of different ways you can, chop up the pie, so to speak. But shout to Pascal. I see you. Yes, we are live. We are live and direct. And, we are doing our class. Anybody watching the replay got to understand that we are live as we do this. But technical analysis, getting back to the lesson, technical analysis, again, you're looking at price patterns, but you're also looking at trading volume, and you're making decisions based on that. So you're looking at how much volume is coming in, how much activity is taking place within the market, and you're looking at what that activity is doing to the prices and what you believe it will do to the prices, coming up. So that's the difference between technical and fundamental. Now, in my opinion, a good trader knows a little bit about both. You don't have to, be a complete expert in one or the other. But in my opinion, at least, you know a little bit about both. I don't believe, and I know a lot of my technical folks will argue me with this, and that's okay, that you can just use technical analysis to trade. But I also think that the fundamental folks need to learn a little bit about technical to trade. Because to me, the great trader uses both of these in conjunction, and I'll talk about that in a little bit later in this presentation, or how you use both and why it's important, in my opinion, to be able to use both. Corey, what do you think about using both?
I started off as only a fundamental trader. I never even looked at a chart for the first price year that I traded.
Mm-hmm.
I never even looked at a chart because I only traded fundamentals and I traded seasonality. And I
Gotcha.
was asked
Let me
very.
ask you a question. I know you were good at it, but adding the technical piece to your arsenal, how did that improve you?
It improved me because it helped my entries, right? Because sometimes I would enter trades and I would have to sit in those trades 3 and 4 months to get my money out. But when I added the technical piece, it went from average waiting date time of like 35 days to like average waiting time of like 9 days.
There we go. All right. So, and you
it cut my, so basically by getting a better entry, I get a better exit. You see what I'm saying? Like, because now I'm hitting my price point a lot faster and I'm not having to wait for my money as long. So my money gets to actually move a lot faster and I can get to do more trades.
All right, there we go. So now, getting back to fundamental analysis, and that's what we're going to talk about for the next couple minutes. This approach focuses on assessing the intrinsic value of an asset based on underlying factors. Now, a couple weeks ago, if you remember, I actually showed you guys some of the software that I created to do fundamental analysis, which is looking at the earnings per share and looking at what the value intrinsically within a company. So we're talking about valuing the cash flow of a company when we talk about the intrinsic value. Like, what is the present worth of future cash flow, right? So from a fundamental standpoint, and you can do a lot of this with a lot of free tools, believe it or not, whether that's FinViz, whether that's Yahoo Finance, you can look up a lot of the different factors that go into fundamental analysis because a lot of this is publicly available. And in my opinion, right, I don't believe in trading a bunch of companies. I also don't believe in investing in a gazillion companies, right? Because I see folks out here who own $2 of 1,000 different companies. And I'm like, what are you doing, right? And why is that, and to me, relevant to talking about fundamental analysis? Because I feel like even if you're buying a small portion of a company, right, from a long-term standpoint, you should know what's going on with said company, right? You should actually look at yourself as an owner, right? If you just want to do this passively, just go buy an ETF. I know Don is in the building and Don is the king of ETFs, but my thing is that's a smart approach. If you just want to be passive, go buy an ETF, go buy a mutual fund and chill. But if you want to be into individual stocks, in my opinion, you have to really do a fundamental analysis and you have to follow said company. And I'm talking about with me, if I own an individual company, I'm on earnings calls. I'm listening. I'm following what the CEO is doing because I look at myself as an actual owner. And part of that is consistently doing fundamental analysis. So it's not just doing it one time, it's consistently doing fundamental analysis of your holdings. As it pertains to trading, I want to see what's going on with that company from a macro and micro level before I get into a trade, because I don't want anything that, was unexpected to happen that, ruins my analysis from a technical standpoint when I'm looking at my entry point, as Corey mentioned. So
now, Jim, real quick, just let the people know what are some of the things you've gleaned from listening to earnings calls.
Well, a lot of things, right? So I hear about future projects. I hear about how current projects are doing, like where money is being invested and where money is being allocated. So if I'm consistently doing my fundamental analysis and I see the company is operating one way and I'm listening to an earnings call and their CFO is saying, no, we're investing all of our money over here, and I think that's a bad play, then that's something I want to pay attention to, right? So again, a lot of things are hidden through vocabulary and seem a lot more complicated. But look at this as if you're running, a corner store, right? If you're running a corner store and you're looking at your numbers, you're looking at data, and you see all your money is based on selling potato chips, and then your partner, for lack of a better term, comes in and says, no, we're going to buy more sodas, and you're like, we're not making any money off sodas, right? That's simplifying. That's making it very simple, but the same rules apply. Don't try to switch up your style. Fact is, I want to know where money is being allocated. I want to know the money that's being made, the profits. How are they being spent, right? Are you buying back shares? Are you paying a dividend? Are you just, what are you doing in terms of R&D? So there's a lot of information that you can get from an earnings call, right? I remember I was on an earnings call like during the pandemic for American Airlines, and the guy was saying how, part of the pandemic is as a response to the pandemic, we're not going to clean our planes. And I said, what the hell you been doing before the pandemic? Like, let me go ahead and run this short, man. Y'all just started. Anyway, but all that being said, It's a true story.
Yeah.
Fundamental analysis is very important. I also just want to mention it's important for long-term investing as well as trading. And I think this is where everyone should start. Before you get into the technicals, the way that Corey talked about his journey as a trader, I think that's the proper way. I think fundamentals come first before you add the technicals. And again, this is my opinion. And by the way, anything we say today on any show is not investment advice. It's for educational and informational purposes only. We're just sharing what we're doing, what we're looking at this upcoming week in this specific class here. We're just breaking down the difference between fundamental and technical analysis as we see it, right? So next part, determining an intrinsic value, right? Your fair market value. The fundamental analysis aims to uncover the true worth of an asset independent of market fluctuations. Why is that important? Because sometimes the price that you see on the market may not be reflective of the actual value of a company, right? Sometimes companies are undervalued. Sometimes they're overvalued, right? The market tends to, act very emotionally. And based upon that, you want to be able to do an assessment and see whether the price that the market is charging for that asset is its fair market value, right? I can ask anything I want to sell a piece of property I own, whether that's a stock or a home. I can say, listen, I can know damn well that my house is worth $100,000, but I can ask $500,000 for it. And if somebody comes and says, I'll give you $500,000,
that's what it's worth.
That's what I'm gonna give it to them for. But someone who's savvy knows how to do the research and figure out what is the fair market value. What is it going for based upon that fundamental analysis, based upon the cash flow, based upon the earnings, based upon the profit, all those different factors that go into a fundamental analysis, right? In fundamental analysis, you also want to have a long-term perspective because you're focusing on the intrinsic value. And it helps you make informed decisions about long-term investments, right? I want to make sure I put that. Although we're talking about options overall, fundamental analysis is very important as it pertains to long-term investing as well. We're not just going to talk about options on the Sunday Playbook because we believe that the real wealth is built in buy and hold long-term. We trade in between our buy and holds to get more money for buy and holds, right? There's an objective with some of our trades. And sometimes we may come on here and not even have trades depending upon how the market actually looks. But we still may talk about what we're looking at from a long-term hold standpoint. And part of that is doing a fundamental analysis of the company. You have to understand how the company is making money. So for instance, right, I've been investing and trading for a long period of time. I was around during the Enron scandal. And one of the reasons I never got hurt during the Enron scandal is because every investor and trader that I talked to during that time, I would ask them one simple question, and no one was able to answer it for me, which is why, although the stock was booming, I never touched it on any trade or investment. And that was a simple question. How does Enron make money?
They didn't.
But that was a simple question and nobody could answer. And I actually had someone tell me, who cares? Look at the price. And I'm like, no, how are they making money? It's a very simple question. If you can't answer that question about any of the companies that you hold in your portfolio, what are you doing? But it's a very simple question. If I ask you guys how Apple makes money, I'm pretty sure a lot of you can answer that question. If I ask you how Nike makes money, you can answer that question. And now as we move into a different space, when we're talking about AI, robotics, I was having a conversation with my brother Tyrone last night. He was talking about quantum computing. As we're having all these conversations about these highly technical industries, ask yourself one simple question. Do you know how they make money? And if you can't answer that question, be careful. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now, you always want to focus on your business metrics. You want to look at the earnings. The fundamental analysis examines the company's profitability, looking at earnings per share, EPS. Like I said, we probably could do a whole show on that. Revenue, growth, profit, and margins. These are the things we look for. Like I said, to simplify it, some of the same things you look for in your own personal life. Cash flow. We scrutinize cash flow statements to assess the company's ability to generate cash flow from operations and invest in growth, right? It's one thing to make money, but how is that money being allocated? Which goes back to the question Kamari asked me. A lot of times you get those answers by listening on earnings calls, which is why, I make sure I do so. And by the way, if you can't make an earnings call for a company that you own or for something that you're thinking about trading, you can always replay. You don't have to be there live per se, but you will get a lot of information from that. Because at the end of the day, again, we're talking about businesses. Businesses make money and businesses spend money. How are they spending it? How are they making it? And these are very important. So you always want to focus on business metrics as we talk about fundamental analysis, right? You also want to examine the economic environment, macroeconomic indicators. What's going on with interest rates? Gross domestic product growth, GDP growth, or inflation. So all of these things can affect your market. What's going on in geopolitically? This is the greatest thing about trading and investing to me is the stock market is one place that brings everything together for me. I see how everything is connected in the world, whether we're talking about law, education, politics, economics, it's all connected. And you all see it play out in the market. A lot of times you'll see global events happen, but the market has reacted to it like, earlier because they already knew something was going on. Like we've seen that a lot, right? So when you pay attention to the market, if you actually want to be in this space, and again, one of the things that I said last week is this is an options class. And I'll be the first person you ever take an options class with to tell you that most people shouldn't trade options. That sounds counterproductive for me, but at the end of the day, I'm all about being transparent and honest with folks, right? What we're doing here with Black Wealth Rebels is really about building a community and being completely honest and transparent. It's not about it's not about running the play or making a bag.
It's not about get rich quick.
No, there's no get rich quick here. We are not about that at all. I don't care about any of that. And if that's what you're here for, then you can leave and not come back. And I'm okay with that too. And I still love you. But the fact of the matter is we're about building a long-term community and being transparent with folks. I believe most folks shouldn't trade. But if you do want to trade, I feel like it's a commitment on your part because one of the things you have to, this slide shows it all. You got to pay attention to these things. You shouldn't be in the markets if you're not willing to understand what's going on from a macroeconomic level, if you're not willing to pay attention to global events, and if you're not willing to pay a little bit of attention to what's going on with monetary policy. The central bank's actions, such as adjusting interest rates or quantitative easing, can have significant effects on financial markets. I know Corey is big on watching what's going on with quantitative easing. Corey, you want to explain why you watch that all the time?
Because the amount of money that comes into the market and goes out of the market affects the debt of each company. And so quantitative easing means that money is coming into the market and that basically debt is going to get the money is worth less. Not worthless, not yet, but worth less. Mm-hmm. So quantitative easing means that companies are going to boom, but that means also that, in a short time, that also those companies are going to, those companies that don't make money or have high debt are going to suffer and suffer in a terrible, terrible way. And when you saw that in 2019, in 2018, 2019, when we had that bounce down, when money got pushed into the market, all these companies took off. And then the companies that are good, Apple, Microsoft, and those kind of companies, they're continuing to take off because they had their debt under control. And then you saw some companies who was stuck in the mud because their debt was out of control.
Yeah. And I want to simplify things too. Like when you talk about quantitative easing, like the simplify it is when the central bank, they buy financial assets to stimulate the economy. So them having their hands in the cookie jar, for lack of a better term, has a huge impact on what's going on. So you really got to pay attention to that. And to give you guys an example of how fundamental analysis can help you, one of the things that is often said in investing is look at the things you use and just buy them. And, it's okay to start with what's around you and what you use. But it doesn't mean that it's a great company. It means it's a great place to start your research. And I'll give you an example. I'm in Philadelphia, and years ago, right, Rite Aids out of the blue just start popping up everywhere. I'm talking about everywhere, every block. Like Rite Aid, it was Rite Aid here, Rite Aid there. For those who don't know what Rite Aid is, because we do have a global audience, Rite Aid is a pharmaceutical and retail company, and they were popping up everywhere. And I started looking at Rite Aid like, okay, is this a good investment? They're growing like crazy. But as I did the fundamental analysis, what I realized is they were taking on goo-gobs of debt, for lack of a technical term. So much debt, and also doing my fundamental analysis, listening to earnings call, reading about the company, what I realized is they were making a play to get a license to sell alcohol, right? If they would have got that license, I think, their company would have went a different direction. Never got the license.
Fell short.
He fell short in getting the license. And a lot of people say that wasn't a politics, which also tells you how politics is tied into business, but that's another story. But doing that fundamental analysis stopped me from taking a long-term position or even a short-term position in the company. And from a long-term standpoint, that proved to be a powerful thing because they're struggling. And if anyone just pulled back their books and saw how much debt they were taking on, you would have stayed away anyway. You know what I'm saying?
That means everything. And if you had to do debt compared to income, right? It's not just debt because Apple probably has more debt than all of these companies combined, but it's debt compared to their income. So it's not just do they have a lot of debt, because there are companies with a lot of debt.
Are they able to service the debt? That's the thing, right?
Yeah. So the thing about Apple is they purposely took on debt when money was cheap. So during the pandemic, they took on a bunch of debt because the interest rate on that debt was so low.
So here's the thing, right? To keep it simple, right? When you go to buy a house, one of the things they look at is your DTI, your debt to income. Yeah, your debt to income, right? How much debt do you have versus the income that you're bringing in, right? And I like to make things very simple, right? So for our folks, right? You got a cousin that's asking to borrow your money, and your cousin is in debt with everybody, never pays back their loans, right? Then you got another cousin that asks you to borrow a couple dollars, but they're always on top of things. They make good money. They've never not paid you back. Who you gonna get that money to, right? We're gonna keep it real simple here, right? And again, a lot of things I keep repeating this are hit by vocabulary. They try to sound complicated, but a lot of this stuff is really simple when you break it down to it from a fundamental standpoint, right? So let's keep it moving real fast. So assess company-specific factors, right? Management quality. Yes, management is important. Experience and competent leadership can drive growth and profitability, which is why listening to those calls, sometimes you'll hear a CEO and you'll hear like someone ask them a question and how they respond to it. And it could be a negative or a positive, right? The person, because when you're allocating resources to a company from an investment standpoint, you're basically giving those managers the ability to grow your capital or to lose your capital. They have a lot of control over what happens. So you want to make sure that you understand who's managing the company, what's their track record, also what are their goals, right? Because they'll tell you a lot of that stuff. If you watch their calls, watch their interviews, the landscape, competitive landscape, understanding the company's position in the market and its competitors is crucial. Who are the top competitors for your company, right? What are their numbers looking like? And the financial health of the company. Always, we just talked about that. The debt levels, profitability, and cash flow. All of this gives you insight into a company's stability. So these are things that you want to constantly look at because, again, going back to what I'm going to keep saying, I'm going to say this every episode. Y'all going to get tired of me saying it, but I think in my experience, it's important to continuously say you are buying equity in a company. You're buying equity in a company. So treat it as such. That's all I'm going to say with that. Let's get into technical analysis real fast, right? So let's talk about price and volume patterns. It focuses on studying historical price and volume data to identify patterns and trends. And there are trends that will play themselves out, whether that's short or long term. So we use charts and technical indicators to visually represent and interpret market trends, momentum, and volatility. As you'll see a little bit later in today's show, me and Corey always look at the charts to see what's going on with the charts, see what's going on with price action. Technical analysis, a lot of times, is used for more short-term trades, but it can be used for long-term as well. And Corey talked about that, and I will a couple more minutes. So we use things such as trend lines. We look for trends in price movement using lines that connect price points to identify support and resistance levels. You'll hear support and resistance mentioned often. We're looking at levels in terms of which way price is going. Is price going up or price going down? And it's a way to simplify it. One thing you'll learn about me over the time, specifically those that join our village, I am a student of simplicity, and I try to make things as simple as possible. I think there's beauty in simplicity. I think there's genius in simplicity. And I feel like if you can't simplify something, then you really don't know it. Because to me, and this comes from experience, shout out to my brother Court Biggs. We were having a conversation this week, and he was talking about how in the past, he's a trader as well. He's an expert trader. And in the past, he was talking about how he would have 50 different things on his chart, and he didn't become a better trader until he removed it all. And now he uses like one or two things, right? I believe that. Having two, sometimes you get what they call it, paralysis by analysis, and sometimes you're just doing way too much. In the words of my brother Passer, who's another great trader, he said price is going to do one of three things. It's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's going to go sideways, right? We just trying to figure out whether it's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's going to go sideways. We got to keep things simple, right? So we look for patterns. Various chart patterns such as head and shoulders, double tops, triangles can signal potential reversals or continuations of trends. And we're also looking for money coming into the market, the volume analysis. It can confirm price trends as high volume accompanies strong price movements, right? We're looking to see how much volume is coming in the market, pushing something up or pushing it down. So you want to set up price charts. Technical analysts use price charts to visualize historical price movements and identify patterns. We're going to show you what those look like in a little bit. And I've been very transparent about, I only use a couple different indicators, and I share exactly what they are, and I will in a little bit. So indicators are mathematical calculations based on price volume data that provide insights into market trends. Everything is math. To me, everything in life is math, right? A lot of people act on emotion, but to me, it's all an equation, right? And the thing about trading is it's a lot of math involved. It's a lot of math involved. So what we're trying to do is forecast future price movements. So technical analysis seeks to identify trends and patterns. And by analyzing this historical data, we can see or anticipate rather future price fluctuations. So again, fundamental is about what's going on with the company, what's going on internally, how it's being managed. Technical is all about which way we see the price action going. And I appreciate you doing that, Kamar. So we're going to show you some of the things we use to look for breakouts, reversals, and all those kind of levels. But the goal is to predict when an asset's price is going to rise or fall. So if we can accurately predict whether it's going to rise or fall, we can capitalize on that by being in a trade beforehand. And that's all we're trying to do to keep it simple. Keep it very, very simple. Keep it simple. KISS, right? Keep it simple, stupid. We want to predict whether price is going to rise or fall, and we want to capitalize on it. That's all we're trying to do. And again, it doesn't mean that you'll be right. In fact, I've told you guys before that a lot of the most successful traders I know or have studied, they're probably right just a little bit above 50% of the time. But the fact is, there's also a nuance in that. When you are right, you have to be right at a higher percentage than when you take a loss. You cut your losses at a smaller percentage. That's all part of the game. I don't care who you are. If anybody tells you they win on every trade, either they're a liar or they don't tell the truth. There's one of the two.
Yo,
They're a liar, and the truth is not in them.
Yo, you funny as hell. They're a liar or they not telling the truth.
Yeah, it gotta be one of the two. Gotta be one of the two, right? So even as we talk about the plays we make on this show, we're not always going to be right. It doesn't mean that our analysis is wrong, though. That's the other thing, right? Because there's so many factors and there's so many variables that go into what happens in the market, which is why it's important for fundamental and technical to kind of meet. It doesn't mean that our analysis is wrong. Hey, listen, man, Dr. Chaz always tells me. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you can be early on a trade. I never forget
you stole my thunder. I was going to give Chaz's quote. Dr. Chaz always says, I wasn't wrong. I was just early.
And that's real. I never forget. So when I was professional, I spotted the yen. The yen dollar reverse was crazy. I started buying the yen. I was early, though. I was early by about 6 months. It wasn't my money, so I could wait. And it paid off lovely after that 6 month period, though.
There you go. So that's the thing. Dr. Chaz, that's her quote. Like, she got the t-shirts. I'm not wrong. I wasn't wrong. I was early, right? Technical signals. She got the Dr. Chaz. Technical analysis identifies potential buy and sell signals based on price and volume patterns, right? So again, this is all we're looking for. A lot of this, we're repeating what we're saying, but it's for a reason. So if you're watching this on the replay, if you are in the village, and for those in the village, I'm going to cut this part, this presentation part, and you'll be able to watch it as many times as possible. But a lot of things are repeated intentionally. So we use both fundamental and technical, but technical helps really make informed decisions. And it's based on the trends and momentum of the market. Momentum is important. Sometimes your analysis can tell you one way, but the momentum is going a different way. And you got to really pay attention to momentum. How's the big money moving? Big money controls the market. So a lot of times we just try to piggyback on that, see which way they're moving, and take our piece, take our share of the pie. So what Corey mentioned, and this is very important, right? Technical analysis helps identify entry points for potential gains and exit points to minimize losses. That is crucial because even if you understand the fundamental side, you still have to figure out, where do I get in? Where do I exit? What are my rules? One of the things we'll talk about in the future class is having rules to trade. I have specific rules that I follow. The XLRE trade that I gave away in our Patreon a couple weeks ago already paid out. I think I cashed out. I posted it in the group when I cashed out, close to about 40%. And I gave that trade. As a matter of fact, I didn't even get that on a Sunday. I get that on a Wednesday show 2 weeks ago, and I already made 40% of my money on that trade. You know what I'm saying? So, y'all do with the numbers whatever y'all want to do with the numbers. But the point is, that was based on a great entry. We had
the math is mathing.
The math is mathing. We had that huge drop that day when Romy Rome came on and spit those bars about interest rates, right? And the market dropped like crazy. I came on, I was like, listen, you're going to get a nice little bounce back, you know, during a holiday. I'm going to jump in this. As a matter of fact, it was XLK. I'm going to jump in this XLK play on the upside, and it did what it was supposed to do, made 40% of my money, you know, and now I'm out. Now, I know for some folks, they're like, well, you could have made more, you could have held on longer, but there's different types of trades. Again, I tell you guys, I have 2 accounts, one for my swings and day trades, and I have one for my long-term leaps, because I do look at leaps as being long-term investments. Now, let's talk about the key differences. Fundamental analysis focuses on long-term investment strategies aiming to identify undervalued assets for long-term growth. And technical relies on historical price and volume data and indicators to identify patterns and trends. So that's a little bit of the difference. Some of it is about the time horizon and also the information that you're using. With technical, we're using more of price action and volume. And with fundamental, we're looking at the underlying value of that company based upon its actual business, whatever it's doing. One thing I want everybody to take away from today's show, if anybody tells you about an investment or a trade, ask them, how does that company make money? If they can't answer that, you know, smack them. I'm joking. Don't do that. No assaults. But, you know, be careful. That's all I want to say.
Also ask them, are they invested in
it? Great question. That's another great question. So we kind of talked about this, the key differences, the time horizon, and also the information being used. And again, with fundamental, remember, industry reports, economic data. I added more things on there, earnings calls. Just literally, if you're invested in a company, you should have them on a watch list, and you should be looking at the news of said company. That's nothing that you have to pay for. I do use paid services. I pay for TradingView. I do that. I'm being completely honest. But you can use Yahoo Finance. You can use Google Finance, which are all free, and put your companies in and follow in terms what's going on with them. Follow what's going on with them. Technical price charts, volume data, technical indicators. If you don't want to pay for anything, Corey shared a resource with you on the first episode of Sunday Playbook where he talked about FinViz. FinViz will give you an already marked up chart so you can see what's going on with a company. Again, we're not trying to sell anybody anything. We'll give you all the free stuff too. All the free stuff. Free 99.
For now.
I'm talking about those services. Yeah, right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, right now, you know. So today's episode really is about the difference between fundamental and technical in terms of this class today. And really understanding that, in my opinion, you need both. Because even as a fundamental trader, which I probably consider myself more of a fundamental person than a technical person, but I do understand technical analysis. I do use it. Do I understand everything about technical analysis? No, because I feel like simple is important. I'm trying to become great at the one indicator that I use as opposed to using 11 different indicators. I came to that point by going through using a lot of different indicators until I realized that, okay, this is the one that works best for me. What works best for me may not work best for you, and that's okay. But if you're going to commit to like becoming a trader, and, you know, we hope everybody's a long-term investor at least, but if you want to get into some trades, really figure out what works for you, which means you're going to have to try a lot of different things. I'll share, you know, in a little bit my screen to show the indicator that I use. And I use Keltner channels for those who don't know. All I'm looking at is price action and seeing, because I'm a what's called a mean reversion trader. I believe everything regresses to the mean, and I'm just looking at things to regress to the mean. So that's kind of my approach to trading. It's very simple. May not work for a lot of other folks, and that's okay. And the thing about using strategies is you really have to stick to your strategy, right? Yep. There are weeks where I don't make a trade at all because nothing is falling, you know, amongst my strategy, and that's cool. Sometimes the best trade you make is no trade at all, right? So a couple things I want you to take away from today's class is this. You got to understand a little bit of both for entry as well as what's going on with a company. You have to understand how companies make money. And when they make money, what are they doing with that money? Is it profit? Are they using it just to pay off debt? How much debt does your company have, right? When we're talking about the technical side. What does the volume look like? How much volume is in the market? Is this a company that I should be trading based on volume? Corey talked a couple of weeks ago about not even looking at companies that have low volume. He doesn't even want to look at a company unless the volume is at a certain level, which is important because you're looking at how price can be moved on a daily basis, but also like getting out of a trade. And we'll get into that in further episodes. But This was really about the difference between fundamental and technical. You guys got any questions, you can put them in the chat. For those that are here live, if you're watching this on the replay, that means you are a member of the village, or maybe you're watching the replay on YouTube, because will be on YouTube and Facebook. But next week, everything's for the village. You know what I'm saying? We're doing it for the family. And if you're not a member of the village, please go to blackwealthrebels.com and sign up to be a member of the village. There's different tiers. As you look through the tiers, though, what you realize is like the folks that pay it, I think our most popular plan is our $14 a month plan. Those will be the folks that get all of the everything. I got a business credit class that's already done, not taught by any of us, that I'm going to put back there. And we have a lot of other classes coming. I got a Bitcoin 101 class coming in January that, like I told you, I teach at a university, but I'm actually going to teach it for members of the village. So go to blackwealthrebels.com and make sure you are a member of the village. If there's any questions, please put them in the chat. Thank you guys for allowing me to bloviate and be a blatherskite this morning. You dig what I'm saying?
No, excellent presentation, Jim. You wasn't blatherskite.
Thank you, beloved. Thank you, beloved. I always got to bring the fire vocabularies to my brother Kamari. He appreciates vocabulary.
Yes, I do. I love words.
He bombs atomically. Sorry. Yo, that might be the best, the craziest opening. It may or may
It's
not.
up there. And that's that. So we talked about Prodigy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that opening line, Obama atomically, like, is
I
crazy.
didn't say Prodigy had the single greatest. I said the greatest. Like he consistently does it. That's what I said. That's why I gave you multiple versions of Prodigy that's coming on and kicking it off. By the way, you have no idea what we're talking about. You gotta be on the Friday show. We talk about a little bit of everything. Me and Kamari have a debate about what MC has the greatest opening lines. That's kind of what we're talking about. It has nothing to do with technical, nor fundamental, nor trading, but it is what it is.
Just black life.
But
yes.
Fundamentally.
But fundamentally speaking.
Yeah, man.
But what questions does everybody have? Listen, one of the key things to learning in life with everything is questions, right? Answers don't matter. The person who has the best questions typically wins.
Yeah, I mean, anybody have any questions? Brittany said wordsmith indeed. Absolutely. All right, so listen, shout out to y'all watching live. We appreciate that as well. If you come across any questions, just make sure to put them. I know sometimes YouTube and even Facebook are behind in terms of what they're showing us versus what you guys are writing. So, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, man, appreciate you, brother, for giving me the opportunity to share, Kamari always being sang for it as I present. You know what I mean?
Always what? What did you say? Oh, God. I know there was some slander some kind of way.
I said always being sang for it. Sang for it is not slander, man.
I don't even know what that means. Help me out. Explain, sir.
So sometimes when people present, it could be difficult to not really jump in or whatever. So sang for it is just being calm in difficult situations. Added to your vocabulary. You know what I'm saying? I told you matter of fact, every Friday I'm bringing you a new vocabulary word, man. We're gonna take it back.
We're not doing word of the day, Jim. This is
not.
We
Kamari likes
word
that, man. Kamari likes that, man. You know what I'm saying?
You're outvoted. We are doing that.
Hey, listen, Corey. Listen, you're an educator, man. You know the importance of vocabulary.
Listen, I know the importance of vocabulary, but I still don't want to. Come on, man.
It's not in a day though. It's every Friday. It's once a week. All right, let's get back to what we're here for, man. Because I got a couple trades, man. And this trade that I'm getting ready to give. Corey, you wanna talk first, good brother?
Yeah.
Cedric's in the building. What's up, Ced?
All right. Can y'all see my screen?
No, we can't. And
it's up now.
Now we can.
All right. So I'm looking at two things. I'm looking at UNH. You see, I drew me a line because that's where price action was at before, and it bounced off my line. And as you see, you know how I have my red line. Once it starts to turn sideways, that volume action is turning back up. So UNH, I didn't want to catch the falling knife. I put my my order in. You see, I put my line right where the previous price action was. If you look at my chart, I put my line right where the previous price action was, back here. And as soon as it got to that price action, it started to bounce back up. And so that's where, we're a couple days late getting in here, but it ain't got nothing but upside. You see where it fell from. It fell all the way from the 600s, and it bounced all the way down to 478 ish, back down here to this price action, and now all of these gaps where it came down are going to get filled going back up.
Jeez.
So I would look at, yep. So I would look at UNH long calls. You put your own date on it, but them UNH long calls going to print over time. This is not a cheap company though, so you're going to be looking at a couple $1,000s to do this trade.
Yeah, I got to create a list. I got to create a welfare list because this joint is crazy.
You called it a welfare list.
What I'm saying to you is the prices on these joints. I'm just saying, if we're just looking at price action and where things are going, you know, just like this gap going up got filled. You see how it got filled going back down.
Corey, look up XLV. I want to see how XLV is running in comparison to this. I know UNH has some we can call this a fundamental situation that happened with their company recently. That was part of fundamental analysis. Is when your CEO get murked on the street. That might be part of fundamental. That's not technical.
Yep. Come on.
Yeah, XLV is making that same turn up.
There you go, Kamar. There you go. See that now. See,
turn
I
it up,
can give you. See what Corey gave you right there. He gave you a brand, and what I did, I gave you the great value version, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's definitely the great value version of what.
It's culturally relevant. You know what I'm saying? I gave you the great value version. So
yeah.
And I explained how I came across that last week, by the way, when I talked about sectors. I just went to the sector that UNH is a part of, and UNH is one of the biggest holdings in XLV. So I figured got to be similar.
Yep.
That's a bar, y'all. I hope y'all caught that.
And yeah. Great value. I'll give you a great value version of the trade.
I don't know. That's still not on the EBT list because that joint.
In comparison to UNH, though.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper. A lot cheaper.
Yes, sir.
Hold on. I forgot my other play because y'all start talking about other stuff and then I got distracted.
Well, you don't gotta give out too many plays anyway, man.
It's just the two. It's just the two. I can't believe I forgot the other play. Like I had it up on my chart and then I forgot about.
Fam run a little crazy. Let me show y'all something while y'all sitting there waiting. If you can see that right there, you see that right there. That's a Bitcoin miner at work. But I digress. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was Target. So Target is making. We already talked about Target making his move.
Listen, folks that took the we got to revisit some of those trades because a lot of those trades cashed out, and I don't like to come across as being braggadocious, but you would have already cashed out of that play. You would have already cashed out of the Lowe's or Home Depot play.
This
is
what I was looking at. FedEx also, if you look at once my red line starts turning sideways and that volume starts to come in, I'm looking for it to go pop back up and start to, like I said, this gap coming down, it's going to get filled back up. And even if it goes back to this 290 level, you're going to get paid out on that. So, put you in a long call so that the theta don't kill you. And, I'm not going to give you a specific, specifically, I would go 60 to 90 days out, but I'm not, I'm not you and you not me. You know what I mean? But I'm going 60 to 90 days out with my trade. You can go closer because the volume is coming in. I personally wouldn't go in that, because like I said, I don't like theta to take none of my money.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give mine more time.
So Corey, we got a question, Pascal.
If you pick a closer,
I was saying, there's a question in there. He wants to know, like, in terms of the indicators that you use, what are you using for your indicators?
Man, I told you this chart like 4 years old. I don't remember.
There we go. You can look at it.
I know this is the Keltner channel. The KC is Keltner channel.
So he's also using a Kelton channel similar
But
to
this
me.
AT, I don't remember what this is.
You're also using a different candle, by the way.
But this right here, I don't. Yeah, I'm using Hikanashi candles, because I don't really care about certain things that most traders care about. But this right here, I don't remember what this is because this chart is like 4 years old.
I know that you're also using TTM squeeze.
Yeah, I do, but I don't use it on this chart because I don't really care about whether or not it's squeezing off because this red line right here is a volume indicator. That's all I remember.
By the way, for those that are in the village, though, Corey can actually share his whole setup. Like we can share our setup, but that goes to if you're in the village, we'll possibly do that to share our whole setup.
Yeah, I just gotta go back and look at it because, like I said, I've had the paid version. This is the free version, so I have a paid version, but this right here is the free version of it right here. And this chart is, like I said, 3 or 4 years old. And so I never change up my charts because each chart tells me something different. And like I said, I use the Kelton channels because I want to make sure, like I said, I'm seeing the mean regression, which is that white line. And then this red indicator right here is a volume indicator. So that means the volume is starting to level off and then and change back over. So like I said, once it starts to go sideways, it's going to either turn down like it was going up, and then you see it started to go sideways, and then the price went down, and then it did a loop-de-loop, and then once it started to turn sideways, the volume started to come back into it so that it can go back up. So
now, here's something I want to bring it all together too, real quick. What Corey's talking about is price action, right? Technical analysis. This is what we talked about in our presentation, right? The fundamentals of FedEx. Everybody knows how FedEx makes their money and what they do, and that is
do they?
How does FedEx make their money?
No. I mean, that's making an assumption. Right?
I can literally look up. I can look up on TradingView how FedEx makes their money. I literally can just look.
And show the folks. You know what I mean? Let's show.
Yeah, I just don't want to assume.
You're right. That's an excellent point. And by the way, what he's showing you right now in TradingView, it gives you all the different fundamentals on the side of the technical, so you can see them right there, right?
And if you don't have TradingView,
the fundamentals are right here. This is a free version of TradingView, so I'm not getting. This is not nothing fancy that you will get with some paid version of anything. This is the free version. So all of this stuff is right here. It shows you where they get their performance over the week, over a month, over 6 months, over a year. They're up 11.8% over the year. Seasonality, they give it to you right here. There's no technicals they're saying are neutral.
Corey, explain to people what seasonality is.
Seasonality means during any 3-month period, what does that company do over a 10-year span? So basically, over the last 10 years in January, February, and March, what does FedEx do? And so seasonality tells you that.
What do they do during the Christmas season? What do they do during the summer? Like things like that.
Mess my packages up. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. Not deliver my packages on time. Right? But besides that, yeah, it gives you right here basically what's going on, what's with the company. So if I want the fundamentals of the company, all I got to do is click over here and I can get a more in-depth fundamental look at what they do. So I can get it all right here on my TradingView if I wanted it. So yeah, like if I click on it, I can get a full view of it. Like I can get the financial, seasonal, technical. Basically, I could just look at what I want to look at right there. It'll just tell me.
All right. So this week you're looking at FedEx and UNH.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at those two to make a move. And then, like I say, Target is already making his move.
Yeah, we gave Target for like a more of a swing trade a while ago anyway. So
yeah, right. Target is starting to make the move.
So Pascal, when you say HCS, he asking about a ticker. Put a ticker in.
Yes.
What's the name of the ticker?
HCA.
Yeah, HCA.
Healthcare or something.
Sorry, HCA. All right. Oh,
That might bounce.
It's like the
I
same
like
setup. It's very similar.
Yeah. It's that line, my volume line starting to trend sideways, which tells me we about to get a bounce.
Yeah, that looks Pascal looks similar to the other the whole healthcare sector looks like it's running one way.
Yeah,
Is that a
the
major
whole healthcare
component?
sector look like it.
Is that a major component in XLV? HCA?
Let's see. Let me tell you all the holdings in XLV right now. As a matter of fact, let's see. XLV holdings. I'll tell you what's in XLV, the top 10. I did this last week I forgot what it was, but I'm going to give you XLV right now. XLV, and for those who don't know, XLV is the ETF that holds all the healthcare stocks. Here we go. The simplest way to find this, by the way, is just going to Yahoo Finance, and you can look up the top 10 holdings, especially if you don't want to go past the top 10. So the top 10 are Eli Lilly, UNH is actually number 2, J&J, AbbVie, Merck, Abbott Laboratories, Thermo Fisher. We got Donner Corporation, Amgen, and Intuitive Surgical. So those are the top 10. So that's not a part of the top 10. No. And the reason I always get the top 10, because you can go deeper into the what's the holdings, but the reason I get the top 10 is because the top 10 tend to make up a huge percentage of the overall
and move the whole ETF.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, that's what Corey's looking at this week. Corey's looking at UNH and FedEx. I'm going to tell you what I'm looking at real fast. Let me pull my screen up and share that.
Now make sure y'all write down UNH and FedEx, y'all.
And again, this is not investment advice. We ain't telling you to do nothing, or Nathan. We're just telling you what we're looking at, right?
Nathan.
So let's see. All right, Kamar, you can share my screen, good brother. And also you can remove HCA from the screen, you know. I am looking at Meta Platforms. For those who don't know what Meta Platforms is, that is Facebook. Some of you guys are actually watching on Facebook. That is also Instagram. That is also WhatsApp. Everything that Zuckerberg runs. So we're looking at Meta this week. Now, I want you guys to pay attention to something, because this is not going to be a straight up play. There's some caveats to this play, right? Right now, we're trading at about 599.81. Just looking at the same technicals that Corey were looking at, you can also see what the earnings look like. Look at these last quarters, though. Look at the performance these last quarters. Look at the last week, the last month, the last 3 months, 6 months, year to date, 1 year. So Meta, business is booming, is what we're going to say for Meta. Had a little pullback recently, and from a technical standpoint, it's neutral and it's close to a buy. If you look at the 1 year price target from analysts, it says it's about 663, right? We're trading at 599. So a lot of times I like to take, and I've mentioned this, leaps. And I've also given you my Leap Bible, which I keep next to my desk. But that's either here nor there. You got to go watch the old episodes to see it. So I would take a long-term play in this. But for more of a short-term play, and I'm talking about possibly January or February, here's what I'm looking at for Meta. And this is why I said there's some caveats to this. I'm looking for a close on maybe like a 5-minute candle. Right now we're trading at 599.80. 599.81. Here's what I'm looking for. I wouldn't enter this on a call side, right? And let me give you a little bit more context. Over the last recent history of this trades, the recent swing low was 589.82. That's how low it went. The high was 602.96. So for me, I'm looking at both of those, the 602.96 and the 589.82. And what I'm looking for is something to break either above or below that. So with that being said, what I'm looking for is a move of this stock. I'm going to watch it. So I'm not going to jump in a trade immediately. I'm going to watch it. Right now, we're at 599.81. I want to see which way it's going to go, because it's going to give me an opportunity either way. For me, when it comes to short swings like this, I don't care what the company's going to do long term. I'm looking to make a couple dollars and go about my business. So I'll play it either way. I'm not going to get emotional and care whether it goes up or down. I'm going to try to make money either way. And I'm going to give you these levels right now. So, you're a wine, you'll find there's more to find. But from a bullish standpoint, going up, what I'm looking at is a candle, maybe on a 5-minute candle, anything above 602.96. So to make it simple, 603. If you get anything above 603, I'm playing this to the upside for Meta to break out. And then I'm watching my stop loss on that. But I'm looking for anything above 603. I'm taking this to the upside. Now, on the downside, right? I'm looking to see if it falls. If the market opens and it falls and it goes all the way down to say something like 589. When it gets below 589, I would say below 590. Let's make it simple. 603 and 590. Let's use whole numbers. I'm basing this on 602.96 and 589.82, but I'm going to make them whole numbers. Anything above 603, I'm running to the upside. Anything below 589, I'm running to the downside. So I hope that makes sense to folks. Like, Corey, you get what I'm saying, right?
No, I get it 100%.
Anything above 603, I'm running a call to the upside. Anything below 590, I'm running a put to the downside. So for me, I don't care what Zuckerberg is doing. I'm going to try to make some chicken off of his his stock action, his price action, regardless. And those are the levels that I have set. 603 and 590. So what you're looking for is to see how this moves. And based upon how it moves, that's when you enter. And I'm saying on a short 5-minute time frame just to get your entry. Get your bread, and keep it moving. And for those looking at my chart, this is literally like very simple. I have the relative strength index, also known as the RSI on the bottom, and I have the Keltner channel at the top with my average, and then my standard deviations away from the average. Right now, it looks like we're in what we like to call a money box. It's moving sideways. And because it's moving sideways, I'm just looking for it to give me an indication of where it's going to go. But I think that Meta will make a move in the near future. So I'm looking to play that. Now, something else that I was looking at, also real fast. Let me pull this up as well. I looked at a couple of things. I looked at Apple for a little bit, but something else I was looking at was, let me see. I'm just going through my notes, y'all. Forgive me, because that was my main thing is Meta. I wasn't going to give more than one, but let me just, Corey's showing off. So let me show
off. I just showed him a couple.
Corey. Yeah, but we supposed to do. Yeah, I mean, one apiece. You give him a couple. Now I gotta do two too. I gotta give out two, right? I gotta give out two. So let me pull this company up right here. This is one of our good old faithfuls.
Is Visa?
We went through a couple years ago and shot our brother Jay Johnson when we traded nothing but Visa and Microsoft. We just literally traded those two companies.
Listen, I could go back to that. Because those were
fun times.
Those were the days.
Yeah. So, all right, my analysis of Visa now, right? And I take this serious, guys. So I do got some notes for you guys that I'm reading off of, by the way. I don't just come on here and wing stuff. I actually do a little bit of research before we come on here. So I want to make sure I give you guys so right now Visa's trading at 318.66, and I would buy a 320 call on this going out to January or February. Again, I'm looking to make sure I get it's moving in the right direction. Let me see. Let me pull that analysis up real fast. But I'm looking at a 320 call on Visa. All right, so 320 right now, we're at 318.66. So I do think that Visa, I'm looking at the RSI and it's kind of moving sideways, but it looks like to me that it's getting ready to curl a little bit. So I will watch this. If I get any 5-minute candle above the current price, and I think we see, especially if we go to, what's this number here? The most recent high back on the 18th of December was at like 321. So I would do a 320 call on Visa. And again, none of this is investment advice. It's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at running a 320 call. And again, most of my stuff is long-term, but to Kamari's point, everybody don't got several $1,000s to put into a play. And I'm not telling you to take a play either. But, I'm just looking at how Visa's behaving, moving sideways as well. And I think it's set up to go to the upside. Now, also, just in case, let's look at the bottom of this candle too, Core. If we get a breakdown, if it starts breaking down and it goes below 310, I have no problem with playing it to the downside either. You know what I mean? I have no problem playing it either way. But 320 to the upside, 310 to the downside. That's for Visa. You know what I mean? Torian, shout out to Torian who's in the chat. Torian been with us for a while. Torian said, I remember that time. Yes. So Torian can verify. We've been trading for years. This isn't like something new that we've been doing. We've been profitable traders. And a lot of folks that are watching have, been throughout the journey with us. But there was a time that we just said, look, we're going to focus on 2 companies and just like ride them, but pause. But now, we still keep a small basket, but it's still just a small basket. Like you won't see us on here picking out penny stocks or, the most hottest.
And listen, for those people who trade those, I don't have any issues with the trade and buy those because you can make money with those. I'm just not getting involved in that. Because
I also think you can get yourself hurt with them too.
Huh?
Also, so for me, I say stay away from them because to me, and again, I'm very conservative. Like me and Corey have different personalities, and if you guys that'll be with us for the long journey, joining the village, you'll see that we have different personalities. I'm a very conservative investor. Corey is like YOLO, right? So I have 2 people that I learn from. I learn from my brother Corey. I learn from Pastor, right? Pastor's more conservative. I always make the joke that it's like the old cartoons back then. I got one on one shoulder who's like, no, go for 100, and the other one's saying, no, protect your money. Like so,
Did you just call Corey a devil?
I didn't call him a devil. No.
I mean, that's usually what's sitting on the shoulder, though.
No, he didn't call me a devil. He called me the devil.
No, he's aggressive. He's aggressive. So I'm talking about as it pertains to trading. My brother is.
We got to come up with another analogy.
He's a god. No. Listen, it's a great analogy. Corey is aggressive he's more aggressive than I am when it comes to trading. I'm very conservative, and so you'll see that over time. You'll see that, like we used to call Corey Mr. YOLO, man. Mr. YOLO. See, look, put Torian's comment on there because Torian's been with us for a while. Torian's been trading with us for a while.
You know.
Torian, when I get 30%, I'm Forrest Gump. I'm booking. But for me, that works. This is why part of us doing these shows is like to say, like, yo, you got to find your approach. For me, that works because
Jimmy,
I know that if I consistently compound at 30%, I'm going to beat most people.
So Jimmy, say life is like a box of chocolates.
So most of the time I'm done at 30%. The thing is, that's when I trade with a stop loss. Like when I trade smaller stocks, I tend like my YOLO spirit. So the thing is, I have 2 different accounts, right? My long-term trading account, I'm out at 30% because I always trade with a stop loss and a take profit. But I got a small YOLO account where I just go, the F wow, yo, I just be
right, so listen, I think there's a lesson in that too, though. We talked about budgeting and how like you got to budget for even like some of your more provocative activities. And Corey's like, even with his trading, he allocates something for YOLO.
Yeah, I got to because the spirit is in me, bro.
Listen, we all got different spirits that reside within us, So
that spirit is in me. The YOLO spirit is loose.
So Magnanimous Weight Entertainment. So that's an amazing name, by the way. Says, are you guys still doing trading 101 and if much, how much per month? So we don't do so how can I explain this, right? So blackwealthrebels.com is our village. What we're building is not just trading. Trading is a part of it, but it's really a content house, but also a community, right? And the reason I bring that up is because it's so much more than just trading. Trading is part of it because trading is part of our lifestyle. Like we trade, me and Corey trade, Kamari, we trade. So it's part of our lifestyle. So we basically bring that to the table. Every Sunday we do a show. The 101 is a part of this. And, we're going to consistently put up 101 classes. And eventually we'll move to 102 where we're going to start talking about some more advanced techniques such as cover calls, poor man's cover calls, spread options, and all kinds of different things. And, bring on some other folks so you hear different voices within that space. So we're eventually going to do that too. But go to blackwealthrebels.com. All right, y'all. So that's what I got for the week, man. I'm looking at Visa and I'm looking at Meta for the week. All right. So if you're new to trading, what I'll say is this. If you're new to trading over these last 2 weeks, and this is a whole different account. It's Mixing Media Clothing. So if you're new to trading, what I would say is these last couple weeks, go to the Black Wealth Rebels YouTube page. We've done a couple classes within our live. So last week, and we just gave one literally this week. But if you join blackwealthrebels.com, you'll see that we have it already segregated out for you, where you can just watch the 101 classes. Once this finishes processing today, I'll take that section and put it in there as well. So, that'll already be there for you. Walmart. Pascal wants us to look at Walmart. Corey, you still got your chart up?
Yep.
WMC, or as you call it, Wally's World.
Wally World.
Mixing media clothing, no problem at all. No problem at all. Check it out. But also go to blackwealthrebels.com, join up with us, because again, everything we do is in there. And even our trades, when we actually make trades, we put them in there. Like I share when I get out of trades, when I'm getting into trades, all that shared within our Patreon. So Wally is running a little hot. Looks like he's due for. Let me see. Let me pull Wally on my.
Yeah, we running at the bottom. I don't think Wally World is coming down anytime soon.
It's right at the. I'm sorry, I'm saying it's right.
Yeah, it's right at the median.
Yeah. So for me, I'm watching it.
This is a watch for me. I'm not getting into it or saying don't get into it. I would have to watch it and see if it break above the previous high and low. So if it breaks, all right, I need to make these candles larger. Sorry.
And Corey, when we get done, I want you to look at something. I did a trade last week, but I forgot to share it in the group.
Oh,
I've been busy, man. I'm sorry.
I know you got life is life in you right now, man.
No, you got other things. So, let me look at the 1 day chart, because this I need to look at my daily chart to see when I would enter this, because the 4-hour chart is a little choppy.
For me, it's like 92.90. If it goes above 92.90, I may look at it on the upside. If it goes below like $91, I'm looking to the downside. So close to like 93 and 91. That's very like Paul's tight, but that's what I'm looking at.
So the reason why I look at the 4-hour chart is because one of my other mentors, Delancia Hamilton, told me to never ignore the 4-hour chart. She told me straight out, don't do it.
Yep.
Make your entries on that 4-hour chart. And so that's why I do it. And she was right. I make all my long calls and short positions, my put positions off the 4-hour chart. I look at other charts, but I use that for my entries. For this one, like Jimmy said, anything above 92, I would look at a call. Anything below 90, I would look at a put. So just looking at where it's at, it could go either way. And that's what I would look at. Anything below 90, I would look at a put. Anything above 92, 92.5, I would look at a call situation.
All right.
So that's what I would do.
Core, pull up. I know that Cedric said J&J, but
hold on, I was first, Jim.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Look at SoFi for me real quick.
SoFi.
I brought the March contract on this. I've been looking at this for a while.
I used to trade them a lot.
Ooh, SoFi. So our sister Leslie had us on SoFi like 2-3 years ago when SoFi was like $5, $3.
Nice.
And and I got into SoFi, and I got my money out of SoFi. because we were trading. Actually, we were doing cover calls on SoFi.
Yeah,
Me, Jim, and Spoon were doing covered calls on SoFi, and we were slapping SoFi upon the head and face. We were cracking them upside the head. But it was tying up a lot of money for a little bit of money, because we was running cover calls, and we was on
that right there is another lesson. Like tying up a lot of money for a little bit of money. Like, oh man, it sounds like
I'm just saying we were tying
up.
But
I think that's its own class.
Yeah, like $7,000-$8,000, and we was making like $50 a week.
It was almost like passive money though. It was almost like passive money.
It was though. It was just like, yeah. I mean, that's not bad money. It was a couple $100 a month, but because I was just thinking like, but the cost of tying up $7,000 for $200 was just driving me crazy.
Listen, I know real estate investors who tie up $150,000 to make $200 a month, but I digress. I'm not gonna get into that. So
early.
But I'm gonna chill on that for my real estate folks slap me up amongst our head. But listen though, Tori,
that's real talk. No,
so
Tori, I got it on Thursday. I got it on Thursday.
So Mecca has a question too, real fast.
So I'm looking for it to go to about 19. I brought the $20 call. I gotta go back and look at it again.
That's not bad at all. Like that is not.
I'm profitable already on the trade. It jumped up about 10% the first day I got it, but I'm just gonna hold it and chill because it pulled back. So I felt like it's starting to base a little bit, and I'm feeling it might launch off that base. All right, let me see. Cedric has a question.
So all right, so I'm put something out there. Like I literally have levels on everything. Because Johnson & Johnson is something I do trade. My levels on Johnson & Johnson, again, I'm always looking up or down. And let me see. Let me tell you what I have on that. So my J&J entry 146. Anything above 146, I'm going up. 144.50, I'm going down. That's my J&J levels, right? And again, not investment advice. I'm just telling you what I already got marked up. XPO, I don't have XPO marked up because I don't even know what XPO is.
Let me look.
Again, I told y'all I have a basket. J&J is in my basket. Walmart's in my basket.
I mean, at some point we should probably talk about creating our own universe.
Okay, so the Black Wealth Rebels basket.
But I mean, even because some people just trade everything, but some of the most successful traders have a universe or their own basket that they trade nonstop all day long.
It's a transportation.
So for me, like, and it's funny because I used to get in this debate with my brother Tone. Like, what does XPO even do? He's a technical trader, so he would say, "I don't care." But for me, I want to know what they do.
They're a transportation and truck company.
Okay.
I wonder if that thing's going to keep
looking
falling.
at it on the next earning is in 38 days. It got pretty good volume. Average 30-day volume is 1.53 million a day.
What have they done in the recent past, like last month, week, year?
So year over year, they're up 47%.
Okay.
Jeez.
Nice.
3 months they're up 18%, but the last month they're down 12%, and the last week they're down 8%. So basically, they're just down over the last couple weeks. But
that's interesting because
year to date they're up 51.99%. So basically 52%.
Okay. Yeah, over the last year.
Yeah, they get.
Yeah, okay. Oh, it's so interesting.
So basically, from January to January, they're up 51.99%, but year to date, they're up 47.7%. So basically, this week they just took a hard L for some reason. So we need to figure out what made them take that hard L. You know what I mean? Like, and then if it ain't nothing that's going to be permanent, that's something to look into, because their performance year over year is telling me they get busy. So yeah, I could look it up right now, but we already been on here an hour and a half, and I really don't feel like looking up what made them pick that L. I'm just gonna keep it a thou with you.
All right.
So, real quick,
Cedric some love.
All right, so here's what I'll say, Cedric. Right, just like looking at it, like I looked at the technicals. I gave you the levels that I have on those, but their net profit margin has kind of been down, right? So their revenue and their income has been consistent, but I would say Q3 2024 they had a huge drop from Q2 in terms of margin. And remember, J&J also recently had that big spinoff of like some of their consumer products into a whole separate company. So there's a lot going on with J&J. And as a side, just some a point of transparency. I used to work at J&J and get equity from J&J when I worked at J&J. Although I don't have any more left, it's all in Bitcoin, but that's either here nor there. But I digress. That's what I'm looking at. So Cedric, for me, I'm watch to see what their margins look like as they continue to report their earnings. Y'all don't trade prop firms. I don't. Again, I speak.
I know other people who do trade the prop firms and make a nice little living off of that. So I'm not mad at it.
They do. So again, Sleazy Golden, I'm being honest with you, right? So again, me and Corey are here, but we have a lot of folks in our circle that do that. I just don't do it, and I only talk about things that I do. So I'm not going to, sit and talk about trading prop firms. I don't do that. I don't. Is the 4-hour reference point for configuring options or more for day trading? Some of that is one and the same, right? So day trading is a form of trading options too. Is really about the time frame. So I guess you're asking about a time frame. Is it more for a longer time frame or a shorter time frame? Think about what that is. I would say when you look at these different time frames, think about what the information that it's giving you. They're giving you the price activity for the last 4 hours that is traded, or it's giving you the daily price activity, or it's giving you the hour, right? Which is why me and Corey make jokes about the 1 minute. We say that all of the degenerates, we live in the 1 minute time frame because that means that you really down there. We call the 1 minute time frame District 12. All the undesirables live in District 12.
Right. It's crazy down there. Listen,
they trying to scout.
What's crazy is me and Jim we used to be down there with the undesirables, man.
Yeah, at least sometimes if I'm on a day trade, I still might be with the undesirables. Like if I'm trading SPY on a daily basis and we having a rumble, I'm with the undesirables down there. I'm in District 12 or or my new phrase now because I'm watching
there in undesirable territory. When I day trade, I trade in the 1 and 3 minute.
Okay. If you ever watch Silo on Apple TV, they call it like, down below or up top. But anyway.
What's it called, Jim?
Silo.
Okay. I saw that. I didn't look at it.
Oh, no, Silo was fire. I'm on season 2. Like I watched Silo when it first came out. It's fire. Shot the comment is one of the stars of the show. Anyway, to answer Rebecca's question, depends on what we're doing. Coca-Cola been trading sideways for 10 years now, man. Like that's what Coca-Cola do. Man. Coca-Cola is like buying a bond. Coca-Cola is like buying a bond, yo. Anyway,
you just get all you get is the
I mean, think about how well run and how big of a corporation Coca-Cola is. Like, what is the growth for them other than just like acquisitions at this point? It's difficult, It's an excellent company though, in my opinion. All right, so why are you watching though? Like, you know what I'm saying?
This is what I'll do for you.
Hey, whoever you are, K Solo. Because my thing is like, don't watch. And first of all, it's not about turning anything hood. That's the whole. Like you missed the whole point. You mean go read what Buy the Hood stands for. You have no idea. You have no idea who you're talking to or what you're talking about.
Well, the crazy thing is
K Solo for you, bro.
Yeah. Just tell me K Solo and happy holidays to you.
But the crazy thing is, why you gotta call us fools? I mean, you talking about the mentality, but you adding to the mentality.
Listen, I'm not even.
And first of all, my question to you is,
bro, man,
who is we? Everything we touch. Who is we? You ain't my people. Anyway, man. So whoever that was, Jay, happy holidays to you. You still K Solo, but happy holidays. All right. So Sleazy Golden says you had to have bought that a while ago. Yeah, that's pretty much. Man, shout out to Diamond Dave, man. I just talked to Diamond Dave. Diamond Dave called me a couple days ago. We supposed to meet up, but Diamond Dave was in DC. We supposed to meet up. We didn't get a chance to meet up on Friday. But Diamond Dave, that's my brother, man. We definitely just talked to him. Diamond Dave is Diamond Dave is in our circle. We talk trading with Diamond Dave all the time. That's our brother.
Yeah.
Who's
the weirdo? Like, you come on somebody's show to talk crazy and negative. Like, you got to get out of here, bro. Like,
listen,
and you
Dina,
lucky.
But let's not give him any more energy. He don't deserve that.
Yeah.
No, listen. He's lucky. My brothers have taught me to not respond in the way that I used to respond, because what you would have caught would have made you feel real crazy. Like,
listen, man,
my brothers taught me a lot of things.
Our new for 2025 is to tell people K Solo, and if anybody doesn't know what K Solo means, man,
you ain't been here long enough.
You ain't been here long enough, man.
You ain't been here long enough.
Go get at me, dog. Listen to Get At Me, dog.
Yeah, you know what we're saying. So we tell people K Solo, man. So go listen to that
DMX. Yeah.
Mecca, I like that analogy right there.
Earl Simmons. Yeah, go listen to the great poet Earl Simmons, and then listen to the song "Get At Me, Dog." And then that's why we say K Solo.
Yeah, just K Solo,
K Solo, bro.
And keep it moving. So he's trying to bring the hood out. Now we chilling, Torian. We chilling. We you know what I mean, we let it go. Like, my thing is, why even comment? If you don't feel what we doing, you know what I'm saying, FOH, it's okay, because we only trying to build with folks that
Yeah.
We only trying to build with our people.
Yeah, we only trying to build with folks that want to build with us, man. If you don't want to build with us, FOH, keep moving. Like, we don't.
But with that said,
the thing is, we don't need anything from you. So
hold on, Core. But with that said, right, if y'all do want to build with us, go on over to blackwolfrebels.com. We ain't got time for the foolishness.
Yeah,
we trying to do something good.
Hey, Sleazy Goated, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, Sleazy Goated. I'm in the 1 minute time frames on my daily trades. That's where I'm at. I'm with the undesirables. I'm down below at the 1 minute time frame.
Down there running with the undesirables.
I'm down there running with the undesirables. You know what I'm saying? I put the video on and go run. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do down there, man. But go to blackwolfrebels.com if you're looking to build with us. We have a full community that we're building out there. A lot of other great information and education. We call it edutainment. It's coming. Pause. Also, man, Happy New Year to everyone. If you only pull up for the Sunday show, Happy New Year. This is the last Sunday show that will air on our live on our YouTube and Facebook. This is the last, Sunday Playbook. Sunday Playbook is going for the village now. We will, though, be on YouTube on Wednesday and Friday, right? We got Wednesdays.
Not this Wednesday. We got New Year's.
Yeah, New Year's is this Wednesday, so probably not this Wednesday. But
so we'll probably be here Thursday, more than likely.
Or pull up Friday. We're gonna pull up Friday. Friday we'll be here for sure.
We'll definitely be here on Friday.
Yeah, for shagging off. Friday we'll be here this Friday. So pull up Friday. And by the way, every Friday we do a Bitcoin giveaway. We give away Bitcoin every Friday. So pull up this Friday to be a part of our giveaway. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Cedric. Appreciate the super chat. Shout out to our brother Diamond Dave. It's always love with Diamond Dave. Shout out to Sleazy too, man. Sleazy ain't lying, always, man.
And the thing is, we're gonna show the streets love, man, because on Friday.
You went out, Corey.
You want tape delay for me? Is it my internet?
No, you kind of went out. You kind of like pause on our side.
Because I feel like I'm on tape delay.
We about to get out of here anyway, man. Listen, for everybody that pulled up live, we appreciate you. We love you guys. Even the folks that hate, love to you too, man. Happy holidays. I used to make money on the 1 minute chart day trading, learning the higher time frames, fueled by higher momentum trades. Dina, that's what I said. Like that those 1 minute time frames is when you're out there trying to scalp and deal with that. But longer term time frames, you always got to see what's going on long term. Look at the long term trend, because it's short term trends and long term trends.
You never want to fight the trend.
Don't fight the trend. Look at momentum. It is what it is, man. For those that are already back there at Black Wealth Rebels, I will chop this up once it's finished processing, just to put the class portion in its own space if you just want to watch the PowerPoint presentation. And also, by the way, the last class is back there as well. Go to blackwolfrebels.com. Make sure to sign up. We have free tier as well, so it's not really about, it's the money. We want, the community minded only. Community minded only. Everybody else K solo. With that being said, man, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Friday is our giveaway pull up Friday. And we'll see y'all then, man. Happy New Year to everyone. And please stay safe out there. Please stay safe. We love y'all. Peace.
Happy New Year.